into the cage. We're going to talk about some of the fights. We're going to talk about the fans' reaction to this. How many people have watched this? How many people have been interested in this? I've been trying to track the views and the impressions that this is getting on Twitter as the night has gone on. And it's slowly built out. I was watching the prelims free and live on YouTube, and only 6,000 people were watching the YouTube prelims live, which is pretty disappointing. Then I was on the PFL's YouTube page yesterday watching how many people were interested in the fight vlogs, their version of Embedded. The numbers were horrible. The numbers were absolutely horrible. There was like maybe 3,000 to 5,000 people watching the PFL and Embedded numbers going into this. And then on Twitter with the impressions, like it's gotten about 6,000, 7,000 impressions on Twitter and slowly built itself up to 20,000 impressions now. So it seems to be peaking around there as we get into this main event. Let's just go to trending on sports. PFL versus Bellator. It finally cracks 20,000 posts as trending on sports. UFC Mexico City is all the way down at 2,000 impressions. But we will see what happens as UFC gets into its main event for a Mexican fight night. They are now announcing the main event. Who is going to be fighting Francis Ngannou? And it sort of still goes to show the power of the UFC that their main event, the big deal of their main event is who is going to be taking on the former UFC champion. Like they've built all the hype and all the interest around this main event. And the subject of it is Francis Ngannou, who is a star because of the UFC's money-making machine. So it's a very interesting, juxtaposition of just how well is this going to do against the UFC when their crowning achievement is you get to fight a former UFC fighter. It just shows like, even though they're trying to be equals, they're positioning themselves as, you know, the UFC is a step ahead of us because our heavyweight champion is looking forward to fighting the UFC's former heavyweight champion. Like if you're equals, you tell Francis Ngannou to just get in the cage and fight like everybody else. Be a true number one contender. You know, like when Chandler came over to the UFC, they threw him in there against Dan Hooker. They didn't just give him a title shot straight away or set up, you know, two number one contenders to take on Michael Chandler. It just proves where PFL sees itself in its own mind compared to the UFC. Okay. Ryan Fiera doing his call out. God damn, he's a tall dude. Man, he is tall. Gary Hadley in charge of the ring. We're about to start. They have been using these ref head cams as they do in the PFL, and I don't think we've seen a single shot of them. I've watched 6 of the fights. I've watched all the fights since the prelims. We've had one good fight, which was the co-main event. Hopefully this one will be good. They touch gloves. We are into the first round, 4 minutes 56, 4:55, 4:54. Let's go. Who is going to be taking on Francis Ngannou? Let's have it. The size difference. Oh, straight away! Ferreira has knocked Bader down. Bader's covering up, and the fight is over in the first 30 seconds of the heavyweight fight. Francis Ngannou is impressed, mate. Look at that. Ryan Bader just got his chin smashed in. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. What a knockout. Now, that is a highlight that the PFL needed to go and push itself out there across the MMA world. They needed that kind of highlight. They needed that to sell the next fight with Francis Ngannou. Very, very, very good for the PFL what just happened. The PFL's heavyweight champion just starched Bellator's heavyweight champion, right in front of Francis Ngannou. Let's have a look at this. Let's have a look at this. Bang, 1-2, right on the chin. Rushes in for clean ground and pound. They landed on the ear. They were clean, legal shots. Chael Sonnen's trying to make something out of this. There's nothing to be made out of it. What a bomb. What a bomb. That is just what the PFL needed. Time to bring Francis into the cage. Let's do a face-off. Please build some excitement and some hype around the PFL. Please. Let's have a look at the reactions on Twitter. Thank God Ryan Fiera saves face for PFL. Nobody wanted to see Francis versus Bader. I did. Francis Ngannou versus Fiera is going to be very interesting. Yeah, there we go. We're starting to build some hype now. I want the easiest fight in the division, Ryan Bader. Oh, Jesus. Mate, they just assassinated Bader. Oh, man. Uncle Dana realizing that Mike Tyson, Francis Ngannou, and John Jones are all at PFL Bellator, not at UFC Mexico. It is just Dana White screaming. Bad stoppage regardless. It wasn't a bad stoppage at all. It was a great stoppage. It could have been a little bit earlier, but I mean, we're talking 2 or 3 shots earlier. Like, look, Ryan Bader turns onto his side. 1 shot on the side of the head. 2 shots on the side of the head, 3 shots. There's 3 shots to the side of the head on the ear, all hitting the ear. It's not the worst stoppage in the world. It was 3 shots. You got to allow that 1 shot to see if Bader is going to do anything. So it's 2 shots too late, and they weren't particularly like damaging shots. Bader's got his gloves off. Hopefully, his retirement doesn't get overshadowed by the setup between. By the setup of having Francis Ngannou come into the cage. Like, hopefully Bader gets some mic time. It doesn't look like he will. He is just walking to the edge of the cage. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. He's still in there. We're still in there. I don't know who made this belt, but it's taken them all 10 years to put the belt on the champion. And are they going to put Francis Ngannou into the cage? Interesting. Finally, they got the belt on somebody in a quick movement. All right. All right. They're trying to get Francis in the cage, it looks like. Oh no, we're gonna do a post-fight interview first. Man, this ring thing that they have to insert into the belt, like some Power Ranger move. Like, you are now the champion. Power up. Jesus. It's so gimmicky. This whole card has been so gimmicky. And then to go and sit down on a giant throne and put a flag in, it's been such a gimmick-heavy event. And honestly, it's needed the gimmicks because apart from the co-main event and the main event, it's been a bit of a dead card, man. I got to say, the first 3 fights of the pay-per-view were flat as attack. They were just flat. So I'm so happy that we had a good co-main event and that we had a good main event. But how long and how rangy that Ryan Ferreira is, it's going to be such an interesting fight now. Like, now there is something there for when he fights Francis Ngannou. It's given it a bit of excitement. You know, is he going to choose to stand and bang with Francis? Is Francis going to choose to implement some of the wrestling he did against Cyril Gane? The PFL needed a compelling story for Francis Ngannou's first MMA opponent in the smart cage. Thanks to the performance of Ryan Fiera, they now have one. That is so true, man. All right, let's listen to what they're saying. Let's listen to the post-fight interview. Well, that was embarrassing. It was embarrassing for Bellator, wasn't it, Bad Math MMA? Did you watch the entire pay-per-view, mate? Or did you just jump in for the main event? Let's get Francis in the cage and do a face-off, please. Why do we care about Jon Jones? How did you reckon about the entire pay-per-view? Did you enjoy it? Yeah, I jumped on just at the end of the prelims. They were on YouTube for free. There was only 6,000 people watching the prelims. I didn't watch them. I was asleep. Started at the main event started at 7 a.m. in Australia. Looks like Francis is making his way over to the cage. Honestly, I found the whole pay-per-view to be pretty boring until we got to the co-main. I thought the co-main was fire. That was really fun. But it was just sort of so-so. They just seem to be trying too hard. Yeah, the whole sit on a throne and plant a flag down thing, super gimmicky. There is no point panning the camera to Jon Jones. Jon Jones got a 7-fight deal with the UFC. There is no fucking way. Will you be one of the greatest heavyweights of all time? I mean, you never know. Whatever happens with Francis. Yeah, the best moment of the card was when they talked to Jones. I agree, dude. I agree. That interview with Jon Jones was like nothing interesting was happening up until then. And then you actually got to see Chael Sonnen and Jon Jones next to each other on TV. And you could just tell that Jon Jones just had that like smirk on his face the whole time. Like, this is hilarious. And Chael was trying to be nice to him the entire time. That was the best moment of the card until the co-main. The co-main was really good. You've made a few vids on PFL and you really want them to do well. The sport needs competition. Yeah, absolutely, man. To me, I'm a big fan of one championship. That's the right competition to me. I think if PFL can open up its rule set a little bit more, like one champion does, knees to a grounded opponent, elbows during their regular season, I think it'll be good to have that kind of competition there, especially with how the PFL does things so merit-based compared to how the UFC is getting more and more like WWE. I think it is good to have that amount of competition. How do your videos go when you make them about the PFL? How do your viewers go with them? Because I've made a couple of videos about the PFL and they're like, not that my videos get a lot of views anyway, but compared to the views that I do get, the PFL ones are always... They have such good ideas like the smart cage and ref cams. Everything else is a mess. They tend to overproduce things. Yeah. And I think they need to find a way to incentivize more action in their fights because they do have that season format where the fighters are looking at the year overall. They tend to be very conservative in their fight styles. I usually average about 500 a vid. Nice, man. Nice. Really good. Yeah, so the fighters look at the entire season overall. So they tend to be way more conservative fights without a lot of damage. Yeah, so if they can find a way to incentivize damage, I don't know how you do that. I think it would just have to come down to performance bonuses from the executives of the PFL. And if we get some more blood and violence going into it, they need to create FOMO. There's already so many people watching the UFC. Why would people want to watch the PFL? And if they can get highlight reel moments that get played over and over again on Twitter and on TikTok, in Reels, on YouTube Shorts, if they can get those big highlight moments, then more and more people will want to watch the next PFL card going forward. Because I don't know if like the 2 or 3 highlights that we got out of this card is going to be enough to make people want to tune into the next one. That was it. Pay-per-view over. Man. I don't know how much they were charging for that, but it wasn't worth it. Pay-per-view over. Have divisions and clear champions? What do you mean by that? They have divisions. They have champions. What do you mean by that? Okay, so what time is the UFC starting? How long until we get to the UFC? They don't have middleweight or flyweight. Really? There you go. I did not know that. Are they going to have that now coming in? And the champions are reset at the beginning of every year. The million feels more significant. Yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I think 1 hour and 20 minutes. That's a long time. I might hang out for a bit, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, so PFL has no middleweight fighters. There you go. I mean, they probably will now that Bellator's coming over, right? See, I don't really watch a lot of PFL. I try and get into it. I really do. But I think I watched 2 PFL cards last year, and both of them were just so dead to me that I didn't find any excitement or any need or want to go back and watch them. You know, like when to me, just personally, right? You got a full-time job, you want to keep up with UFC fully and like watch old UFC fights and watch fighters coming up and fighting on this card. And then you got more exciting competitions like Cage Warriors or One. And then I like to watch Eternal in Australia. So I just like watching Eternal fights, I guess, because it's on a Saturday night here. All that plus life, PFL and Bellator sort of just fall to the back burner. And it's like, why the fuck would I care about what's going on over there? And even their like main events last year was so forgettable. Like their big $1 million fight night where they did all the champions. It just felt so flat. But if they can improve on it, it'd be better to have more competition. So yeah, hopefully with the acquisition. And then Bellator, right? Bellator always felt like when I was watching it, I was watching glorified sparring matches. Like the level just wasn't there. I think what's so interesting, like when you're watching things like Cage Warriors and Eternal, things that are a bit amateurish, the fighters are eager to get a big contract with either Bellator or UFC or PFL. Like the fighters are there fighting for something. Plus, the skill level isn't quite there, so they're making mistakes and they're constantly going at each other, knocking each other out. They're striving for something. But then once you've got that Bellator contract, PFL contract, your career is sort of set, like you're in the organization, and now you're just, unless you're one of those guys that's really going for the championship, you're just sort of fighting to fight and to make your paycheck. That's just how it feels to me. Like I could be way off with that, but when I'm watching Bellator, it just feels like, what am I fucking watching here? You know what I mean? And then if I'm watching one championship, because that's so Muay Thai based, it's really, really good stand-up striking. And because a lot of the guys from that region are poorer when they're giving out the higher levels of pay at one championship compared to all the other fight leagues in the region, they're fighting for something. You know what I mean? Like this 21-year-old kid that lives in the slums of Phuket is actually fighting for 100,000 baht. That means a lot to him. Do me a solid and check One out. I agree. Yeah, man, I love One. I watch One a fair bit. It's like whenever I have time to do it. Hang on, I'm going to turn this off. It's starting to warm up. sure it's not fucking around. Oh, check this video out. Yeah, for sure. Hang on, let me go over to your page, man. Let me go over to your page. What do we got? Bad MMA math. Who's the best champions between UFL and UFC? Western Masculine. How are you, mate? I've actually got all of my chats turned on today. Bad math MMA. All right, what do I type in? Let's go best champions. PFL and UFC. Okay, sweet. I'm going to save that to my watch later. And we'll check that out. I'm going to give you a subscribe too. There we go. I don't know if Dougie's Corner is even subscribed to anyone. Hang on, let's have a look. Oh yeah, I'm going to give you a subscribe too. Thanks, mate. You know, it's not easy being an absolute boomer and learning how to stream. Thanks, dude. I don't know if I should hang out for a bit. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just gonna chill out and watch the UFC when it starts in a couple of hours. I don't want to be talking all day. I've already been talking since like 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. So I'm probably just gonna sit here in my underwear and get drunk and watch the UFC because it's a Sunday and I'm trying to relax, man. But no, I'll go through. I'll watch some of your stuff. It's all good. Where are you from? You from America, Australia, Canada? Where are you guys jumping in from? I'll come back. I don't know if I will go. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I might go live a bit later. Do you go live during the fights? You're from the UK? Or do you just hang out and watch them? I feel like going live during the UFC is sort of the Guru's realm. Like everyone is over on Guru's stream. Actually Irish, but you live in the UK. Nice. My sister used to live in England back in the day. She used to live over in Lincoln. Just jumped on from another stream. Nobody knows what to do during the intermission. You know what then? Dougie's Corner will hold it down. No, I don't. I get hammered and react up. That's what Dougie's Corner's going to hang out for a bit. Let's hang out, boys, until the fucking UFC starts. And if no one's in here and it's just the three of us, fuck it. We'll have a good time. Yeah, man. Like, so cold as fuck. Yeah, dude, it's a lovely 29. I got the ocean right there. I got the ocean right there behind those houses. There's the beach. Beautiful. And I'm a working man. I work all bloody week. So when the UFC stream comes around, I just sort of want to relax and take it easy. How's my phone going? Stay there. Stay there. I shouldn't have touched it. There we go. All right, done. Stay. It's not bad, man. It's a nice little setup. It's not bad. But yeah, so lovely, mate. Yeah, I just want to kick back and relax and watch the fights and listen to the Guru reactions because let's be honest, he is the king of streaming during the UFC. Okay, so what we can do while we're waiting is let's go over to Fight Pass. And I didn't watch Cage Warriors yesterday because I know Cage Warriors was on in the middle of the day yesterday. So let's fucking catch up on Cage Warriors and hang out and talk some shit. And Bad Math MMA, I'm going to watch your video, but I'll listen to it and watch it at work or in the gym tomorrow morning because I want to actually hear what you have to say and pay attention to it, not just like half-ass watch it. So I'm subbed, Bad Math. I'm subbed. It's on my watch later. I promise I'll watch it because you've taken the time to watch some fucking idiot from Australia talk about shit. You go grab a whiskey, hang out. It's a bit early in the day for beers. It's fucking 10 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, which is a bit early to get on the beers. But the main event starts at 2 o'clock in Australia, which is like lovely on the balcony watching the fights, beers time. Absolutely perfect time. But I've chucked on Cage Warriors from yesterday. We'll hang out. We'll watch that. What is the time over in the UK, mate? It must be whiskey time. UK time now. 10:49 p.m. The only Aussie I know that doesn't fuck with a beer at 10 a.m. Look, it's been known to happen, man, especially during those fucking Saudi cards for the UFC. 11 p.m., yeah. Like, what was it? Gaethje versus Khabib. Was that over in the UK? Was that, sorry, not the UK. Was that over in Abu Dhabi? Was that the one? I don't remember. There was one Khabib fight where I was up early as fuck with my brother, and we were just like, fuck it. Yeah, Yaz Island, Abu Dhabi. That would have been on, here it is. It was on at 5 a.m. in Australia. And me and my brother, we don't live together in this apartment. I'm in Massachusetts, 10 to 6 p.m. There you go, bro. Oh, my girlfriend is a Boston girl. And we were over in Boston. We were in Boston visiting her family during the O'Malley fight card. And I was looking at those tickets. Bro, being here every card is overnight. Fortunately, your boy is retired. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, nice, man. Nice. You retire, you can take it easy. Good for you, dude. You relax. You've probably well earned it. Yeah, Western Mass Climber. We were over in Boston visiting the family for the O'Malley card. And I was like, fuck, man, I'm here. I'm in America. Like, I hadn't been to America since 2019. Fucking UFC's in Boston. Let's do this. Let's go to the fights. I looked at the ticket prices, $700 US for the back row. Now, I'm not a broke man, but that was way too much. I was like, no, thanks. So we went to this pub in Boston, right across the road from the Garden. I think, I can't remember what it was called, but it had 2 or 3 levels. And we were sitting right on the mezzanine amongst all the Irish boys watching the fights. And we had traveled. It takes 30 hours to leave our front door to get to my girlfriend's parents' front door. We traveled 30 hours. Then took an Uber down into Boston, watched the fights, and my girlfriend was asleep on the bar table past it, like by the main event. She was so fucking tired. She was so tired by the main event. There's this crowd of like drunken Irish guys all screaming, going nuts, while Sean O'Malley is fighting Aljamain Sterling. And Jamie is just trying to like barely keep her eyes awake because we've been awake for so long. It was a savage night, man. Savage night. But oh well, it is what it is. So Bad Math MMA, you're retired. You're over in the UK. You must be like looking. The main event must be finishing for you at like 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning. Like you guys are really fucking committed to MMA over there. For me, this is easy as shit. You know what I mean? Like it's Sunday. It's the middle of the day. I can just hang out, relax, enjoy my Sunday off. But you UK MMA fans, no wonder you get so riled up when the UFC actually goes over there. Can you just not sleep and you think about it and you have to stay up to watch it? Like what's wrong with just waking up on Sunday or Monday and turning off Twitter and just watching it back? 4 a.m. usually when they end. This one will end around 6. Yeah, so why not just watch it back? You know, like get Fight Pass. And just, or do you just enjoy being up and hanging out with the boys and watching it? Europe gets so shafted on fight times. It does, bro. It does. That's why the European... Have you noticed when the UFC goes over to Europe, the fucking fans go crazy? They go nuts because they are hardcore fans. You know, they're not like us lazy Aussie fans who get to sit here on a beautiful sunny day. You're quite active now on Twitter. Yeah. So you've like based... I've tried that and I always end up finding out I'm quite active on Twitter. Yeah, I get that. There have been times where, like we do camping and van life a lot. So usually on a Sunday, if I'm not watching the fights live, I might be driving back. And if I'm out in the bush somewhere where there's no reception, I'll I'll try and stay offline until I can watch everything and watch it live. But the second I get back online again, my notifications start going off, and the notifications will be like headlines of the MMA Zone, headlines of Guru, like on Twitter, on Instagram, on everything. All the headlines will be there, and you'll get spoiled straight away. Yeah, I get that. I absolutely get that. There's something about watching it live, whether you're like on Twitter, in a chat room doing this, hanging out, where there's just like that energy of what's going to happen next. It's just not the same live, you know? Okay, I'm watching the first fight of yesterday's Cage Warriors. It is impossible, especially when you're like this deep into it. Like you've got a channel. I'm sure like all of your social media feeds are set up in this channel's profile. Maybe that's how mine are anyway. So it's all like the whole algorithm is just pushing out to you constantly. Why was Cage Warriors not in Europe yesterday? Because their last one of the year last year was in San Diego as well, wasn't it? Didn't they finish the year in America? Entirely MMA. Yeah, entirely MMA. Yeah. Yeah, I used to have like other, like just Doug accounts, but they all got banned during the pandemic. So it is what it is. And now it's just Dougie's Corner. Round one, we're off. Let's go. I can't, and again, like, right, talking about watching fights live, I want to go to Tapology and see these guys' records and see what's going on. But, nice clean knockdown in the first round. But if I go to Tapology, I'll just ruin the whole fucking card for myself, won't I? So I just got to sit down and hang out and watch this until the UFC starts. We might stay live. We got some viewers in here. It's so weird, right? Now that the PFL and Bellator is over, we got some people in here chatting. But when I was watching the start of the PFL Bellator pay-per-view, the whole pay-per-view for the first 3 fights, there was no one watching. No one's interested in it. I don't know what the PFL are going to do. Hopefully that awesome knockout of Beta gets people excited. All right, that Kendall dude managed to stay in the fight. It was an awesome knockdown, but he managed to stay in the fight. Now they're just grappling up against the cage. And because this is Cage Warriors, I can't even like see what weight class this is. From the build of the boys, it looks like it's heavyweight, which means 2 fat heavyweights. They're going to gas out if this fight goes into the 2nd and 3rd round. I didn't know you were even doing lives. I didn't get a notification. I think because my channel is so small, when I went on live, they said a certain amount of viewers plus 25 subscribers or something like that. There was this like little notification that they gave me. I think probably because it's so easy to go live just on a smartphone. They don't want any person going out there and doing it. So they're trying to sort of limit the audience. I don't know. And if you don't have notifications on for me, like, why would you get one? And there's no need to have notifications on for me. I release like 1 video a day and I barely go live. So it's all good. I want to try and go live more and more because I find it fun. But with like work and life, it's very hard to find the time. Like I make my videos early in the morning just before I go to work. I get up at like 4:30 a.m., go to the gym, and then right after the gym, I'll shoot a video and then load up the work car and go to work. And like during the day, I'll be like stopping and editing the video on my phone and try and upload it during the day. So yeah, but it's all good. It's all part of the fun of the game, isn't it? That's why my videos, they're like such low. Yeah, going live is something I want to do eventually. It's fun. It's fun. I think when I was thinking about doing it at first, I was like, right, I got a small channel. You know, I got under 500 subscribers. So there's not going to be many people on there. So if I'm going to go live, I want it to at least have something interesting about it. So I would think about what could I ramble on about for like half an hour or 45 minutes. So even if there is no one there, at least I can post the live and leave it up. Or if someone jumps in, at least I'm already talking about something. So I figured if I try and go live once a week, I can at least talk about the videos that I've... Ooh. Simmons is unloading on this bloke. Kindle against the cage, knees to the body, sick. Yeah, man, it's always like when's the right time to jump in and do it? And I found that every single time I've gone live, at least one or two people have been there to chat to. And if you've got a general idea of a topic that you want to talk about and at least start a conversation with someone, there is something there and something to post. And even when I've left lives up on my channel, people have left comments about what I've been talking about. So they're sort of like extended long form videos that might not be as tight or as in depth as your regular content that you put out. And I mean, I'm talking like I have experience, like, but I have fuck all, subs on this channel. But I do think with live, it's like video audiences. Like the more you do them, the more you build up that audience and the more people want to click on the next one and hang out to the next one. So like, when do you start? I don't fucking know. 1,000, maybe. 500 like I did, maybe. I don't know. I don't think there is a right answer. I think you just start when you want to start, I do a lot of pods with another creator. So if you're ever interested, you're always welcome to come and jump on. Thanks, man. I've never done a podcast, so I don't know how I'd go at it, but I guess it's just doing this and talking. If our timelines work out, I'd love to. I'd love to do this as much as I can. I do drywalling and plastering as my day job, and I run that business myself. So it's quite time consuming and labor, like it's exhausting work. So if I could ever take 1 or 2 days off that to do MMA stuff on the internet, that would be a fucking dream come true. You know what I mean? We mostly get topics set and just talk about stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much what I try and do with these live streams. Might be one to check out on one of my playlists. Awesome. I will. I'll have a good scroll through your channel. I'll have a damn good scroll through. We'll see what we can do. Do you do the podcast live? Do you live stream them? The key is not giving up, I guess. Yeah, I think so. I think you just keep pushing away at it. And I started this with like a zero outcome in mind. I was like, I like doing this. I like MMA. I like chatting to people on Twitter and in the chat rooms of the other guys on MMA YouTube. Like I love bantering in the chat room. And I found when I was talking to them, no, we just record them and then release them after. Fair. I guess you get to do some editing then and cut out all the dead noise. But I started doing the videos because I would get into like chats and arguments with people in the other chat rooms, and I could go on for longer. Like I didn't get all my points across. So I was like, I'll start putting some videos out. And because I know that I'm making them like such low quality. Okay, cool. Nice, man. Nice. Slowly, we get there. Because I make things like I literally just shoot these on my phone and edit them on my phone because they're such low quality. I'm like, if they don't get any views or they don't build anything, that's fine. Like at least I can say I had a go and I tried and I enjoy doing it. Like I think the points, I don't make a video if I like don't think it's an interesting point or a different way to look at a fight or an outcome or a trajectory of how things are going to play out. So I'm like, at least that's out there and someone can watch it. And some people did watch it. And so that's good, I guess. That's the whole point of all this, isn't it? I don't think I'm going to be retiring off making MMA content. But it is fun to do. Yeah, I guess. So you only started appearing you only showed your face in January. It's only the end of Feb. You know what I mean? Like these things take time to grow. My girlfriend does a lot of social media. She's right into social media. She always has been. We've been dating for like 6 years now. And everything, if you're not paying for views and paying for subscribers, everything slowly takes time to build naturally. Everything. Like you look back at when the MMA Guru talked about his channel starting. He says he didn't have anyone watching his channel for 2 years, man. I've had a channel for over a year. Nice. but I only did the voiceover fight picks and reactions for a while. Yeah, and there's a lot of heavy competition in that. There's a lot of heavy competition in that. But even a year, right? Like you've had a channel for a year. You've had a channel for a year. We've got pretty much the same amount of subs. I've had a channel for about a year. It's a very natural progression. It's a very, very natural progression, you know? That to me feels like how channels naturally progress. And then you've got certain channels like, you know, Ronin MMA. His channel is going to blow up. And it's just that thing of like, some people click with some people don't click with some people. Ronan's very good at presenting the information and chatting and bantering with the boys. So that's going to take off. I'm not the best at this. Like, this isn't my natural environment. I'm a tradie. You know, I work by myself most of the time. I make these videos on a shit phone. So there are different levels of engagement. It's just the name of the game, really. It's like walking into a, like, to me, I'm like, you walk into a room at a party, like YouTube MMA is like this big party that's going on. And you just sort of make yourself at home and see how you vibe with people. And if this party grows around you, it does. And if it doesn't, you enjoy the party that's going on at the other side of the room. You just hang out there. That's sort of like the healthiest mindset I have at looking at it, but what the fuck do I know? What's up, Western Mass Climber? I am what you guys call a drywaller. We call it a plasterer. I've been doing it for fucking years now, man. My dad was a plasterer. I'm a plasterer. So, yeah. Was my dad's business. He wound it down and did just like little maintenance handyman work as he got older and older. And then I took it back over and rebuilt it and put it online. And now we're flat out with contracts and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's constantly managing quotes and managing subbies and all that kind of stuff. It's just a nice little business. Keeps me going, keeps me employed. Yeah, well, I did it. It's a profession that won't run out of customers. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly why I picked up the trade, because I didn't finish high school. I finished high school at year 11 when you're meant to finish in year 12 here, and I didn't go to uni or anything like that. And there was always fucking work for drywallers, always work for it. And then seeing dad do it, like as dad did it, he went into just doing handyman stuff. And even in his old age, he was always busy. I was like, I'll never be unemployed doing this. I'll never have a boss telling me what to do doing this. I'll always be able to set my own schedule. And I literally always have work. It's a bit quiet at the start of the year because drywalling and painting is a finishing trade. So at the start of the year, it's a little bit quiet, but even then I've built up like decent maintenance contracts with like air conditioning companies and stuff and property maintenance companies that it's still enough to keep me going. I have a buddy who does drywall. I've helped him on a few jobs and fuck that. Yeah, man. It's not for the fucking light of heart. It's fucking hard work, man. But that, like, everyone gets into drywalling by like helping someone out, and then it just, you don't stop working. I'm a tree climber primary, but dabble quite a bit in painting and carpentry. There you go. You're a tree climber. What do you mean? How is that? What do you mean? You like cut them down, trim them, keep them trimmed? Because in Australia, when they're cutting the trees on the side of the road so they don't hit the power lines, they're up in there with a boom lift. What do you mean you're a tree climber? Who the fuck is paying for that? Dabbled a bit in painting and carpentry. Yeah, they're handsy. I think that's our tree surgeon. I think residential tree work, mate. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Residential tree work. Okay. I think removals and pruning. Yeah. Okay. Nice, dude. Nice. I mean, that would be fucking hard work as well, you know, especially on the hot days, windy days, all that outdoor stuff. Tree surgeon. You know, when you want to like play your job up and make it make it seem harder than it is. I'm a tree surgeon. What do I say? I'm an interior facade engineer. How is that for drywaller? I'm an interior facade engineer, actually. I run my own interior facade engineering company. I just hang drywall. Mate, you're retired. You've done your hard yards. And just make something up. You don't have to be honest with us. It's okay. This is a safe space. There's only 3 of us in here. You do what you want. It's all right. But I think I'm an expert. I'm a tree doctor. Oh, nice kick to the body. Very nice. The 3rd round, fat heavyweights, fight slowed right fucking down. Right down. That knockdown at the start was the best thing. Yeah, MMA is it's that kind of sport where it draws in tradies, people who work with their hands. I just see Disney and ESPN trying to clean up MMA so much, and I don't think it's going to work because I don't think the kind of people that they want to try and sell it to are the sort of people that want to watch cage fighters. You're only 37, so there's plenty of time to fuck around with stuff like MMA. I don't know if there is, man. I'm going to be honest with you. There's plenty of time to fuck around with talking about MMA and doing what we're doing, making videos and hanging out. There's plenty of time to do that. But to actually get in the gym at 37, I don't think so. So I think fucking around with MMA and talking about it, 100%. I don't think there's ever an age cap on that. You know, as long as you can be personable and make interesting topics, you could do that forever, you know? Like, how old is Luke Thomas? Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's like 60. And Joe Rogan found talking success like in his late 40s, early 50s, when he really found the success with the podcast. No, I ain't getting it. Yeah, neither am I. Neither am I. The reason I don't train MMA is because I'm a giant fucking pussy. If I break an arm or get an injury, so I work with my body. If I get injured, I can't keep making my money. I like my nose where it is. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I'm making my money using my body. Sounded a bit gay. I'm making my money using my body in my trade work. And if I get hurt in the gym or overdo something, like all the bills, all this just stops getting paid, which is a scary prospect, you know? What were you doing for work? How did you end up retired? Oof. Nice overhand from Kindle. You were a professor of literature in Hong Kong. And how does a professor of literature in Hong Kong end up retired at 37? Were you working at a private school teaching English lit and made enough money to kick back? You're rewatching Poya Gaethje right now? I like that. Essentially, yeah. Yeah, nice, man. Nice. Damn good work. And lucky to get out of Hong Kong before it all went super Chinese and got steamrolled. Rewatching Poya Gaethje, that's a hard fight. Invested the earnings in a supplement company. Nice, man. Made your money overseas, invested it. Now you can chill. Enjoy your well-earned whiskey tonight, man. Well done. Well done. Poya Gaethje broke my heart, bro. Give me a vibe check on this. I know so many fans out there hate Poya because he has a giant chip on his shoulder. I've followed Dusty's career for so long. I still loved him, like even with the chip on his shoulder. Yeah, no rent paid for a decade. Fuck yeah, man. Well done. To see Dusty get his head kicked in like that, Jesus, dude. And I felt like Dusty was doing really well on the feet during that fight. I felt like he was doing really well. But Gaethje just reeled him in and then bang. You don't like Poirier either. I get it. I get it. Oh, the first one. Poirier's your favorite fighter? You think he's a tool? Yeah, I get. It's that chip on the shoulder thing, isn't it? Just rubs people the wrong way. All right, let's talk. Let's talk MMA. Let's talk a bit MMA. Dusty versus Benoit Saint Denis. We got one Dusty fan, two Dusty fans, one Dusty hater. All good. Benoit Saint Denis coming up. Is it going to be too much of a step up in the rankings? Are we going to see a classic lightweight fraud check? Beef in the chat 100. Look, man, we don't get a lot of viewers on these streams. Can we not fucking tear each other apart here? All right? Can we keep it fun? You think Poirier wins it? I think Poirier wins it too. Yeah, too much. Yeah, it's like that Gaethje Fiziev thing, isn't it? You know, it's just that, like, there's for so long, we the fans, I'm going to speak on behalf of all of us now, boys. For so long, we the fans, I'm too biased to give an honest take. Yeah, that's fair. That happens, man. That was my whole, like, fucking Volkanovski fandom run, being too biased. But we the fans have always asked. I got bitten by a spider. Fucking so itchy. This is a massive step up. It is. We've always talked about how the top 5 at lightweight seems to be this like closed off bubble and they only fight each other, yeah? But it seems to be because they have constantly been fighting each other, the skill gap, like how skilled they have all become in that top 5. You know what I'm saying? The Oliveras, the Gaethjes, the Dusties, they've separated themselves so much from that top 10, top 7, that whenever someone does try and enter in, they just get repelled. Like that Gaethje Fiziev fight, which, even though I love Gaethje, it was so closed off for because they're that far ahead. Like, and for Dustin Poirier to take this fight against Benoit Saint Denis is one of those moments of like, do I still have it? Am I still here in the top 5? It's such an interesting fight. I think he will be able to have enough skill to do it. Lightweight outside the top 5 wasn't really good enough for a while. Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty good, man. It's been pretty good. You know, Dustin's a Giga Chad. Just threw up for a bit taking this fight. Yeah, man. Like it's going to be a hard fight for Dusty. It's going to be a super hard fight for him. And Oliveira Tsarukyan, I think Oliveira's still got it. I think Oliveira's got enough to knock back Tsarukyan. I've got to stop itching that bite. But it's that. That's why don't touch it, dog. You fucking moron. There we go. Not good enough to break into the top 5, I mean. Yeah, there was that real clear gap between 10 to 6, 10 to 7, and the UFC top 5. And it felt like the only real changing of the guard that we had was when Gaethje beat the fuck out of Tony Ferguson and Oliveira slipped in past Tony Ferguson. And Tony's just been on that plummet ever since. Poirier has the better French colonizer stock, in my opinion. What does that even mean? And now Makhachev has created an even bigger gap. I don't know, bad math. I don't know. Look, I'm not going to be one of those guys that's going to used to be the marquee division. It still is. Yeah, it still is, I think. But with Makhachev, he beat Bobby Green, and then he beat Bobby Green to get his shot against Oliveira. Steamrolled Oliveira, fair enough. And then obviously went on to beat Volkanovski twice. But it's that thing of like, can we get him against some of the top top 5 at lightweight. Some of those names, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if, and I'm only saying that because I don't know if the gap between Makhachev and the other top 5 is truly that big. You know, Volkanovski did very well in the first fight with the grappling, and Volkanovski was a naturally smaller guy. And Makhachev and Volk also did very well, very close with the hands. The Volk wins broke your heart. Yeah. Volk did super well in that. Like, Volk did very well on the hands and in the grappling when it came to the one-on-one with Makhachev. So the real question is, how far ahead of the other lightweights is Makhachev? Because we haven't, like, I am so ready for the Makhachev-Gaethje fight. I honestly hope and wish that they would just cancel the Max Holloway-Gaethje fight for UFC 300. Let Holloway fight Gaethje next. Sorry, let Gaethje fight Makhachev next and book Holloway for Ilia Topuria on UFC 300. Ilia Topuria didn't get damaged badly at all during that Volkanovski fight when he won the belt. He didn't get damaged badly at all. He's got enough time to recut the weight. Do Max Holloway versus Ilia Topuria, UFC 300, leave Islam versus Gaethje for International Fight Week, and let's fucking settle that after the boys have finished Ramadan, after he's had a full training camp. Gaethje is more than ready, uninjured, and let's do this properly. Let's do this properly, because Gaethje could really fucking hurt Max Holloway, and this is Max Holloway's chance to go and get his belt back. Yeah. I hate that. Okay. You're applying some bad MMA, Matsiv. That's what I do, man. That's what we do. Benoit comes from soy French lineage. Poyo comes from a based colonizer lineage. What the fuck are you talking about? And also, the French colonized as well, mate. Don't forget that. Just because they didn't hold on to it as long as the English doesn't mean they weren't about it. Okay, they're looking at Ilya and O'Malley if he beats Cheeto. Yeah, and I hate that. I hate that they're doing that. I want Sean O'Malley to stay exactly where he is and fight Merab. Like, do it properly. To me, watching Sean O'Malley get ragdolled by Merab would be fucking hilarious, because Sean O'Malley thinks that he is top shit, and Merab is like that little fucking bulldog that latches onto somebody's ankle and just won't let go. Like, Sean O'Malley got gifted the decision over Piotr Jan, and now for his first title defense, he's getting a give. It's not a give me like he's easily going to beat Cheeto, but Cheeto doesn't deserve to be there. Yeah, but like, exactly. So that's what should be happening there. And Ilya, like, they kept him away from Max Holloway, so he didn't fight the like real number one contender there. So he's won the championship fair and square. Good on him. Let's not burn Holloway with Gaethje. Let's put Holloway in there with Ilya and do it properly. Corey's getting bummed as bad as Merab. Yeah, they all are. Just for this weird fucking WWE era that we're in, where the UFC is handpicking their champions and who they're going to be fighting against, rather than giving them true number one contenders. Which, going back to, you know, what we started talking about, Badmouth, at the start of this stream, we need the PFL to do well. I want the PFL to do well, because the PFL is merit-based, and if they can do well, it will draw more eyes of the casual MMA fan over to a proper merit-based system. Like, the PFL they could sell themselves as having the most hardcore competition in MMA, the hardest title to win in MMA, if they brought in knees and elbows and started incentivizing a little bit more violence, rather than these long, drawn-out seasons of wet blanketing with no damage. That's just, quite frankly, fucking boring. No one wants to watch that. I'm going to go check out the PFL's numbers on YouTube now that they've finished their big main event pay-per-view. I'm really curious to see how many views it got, like how many it sold. They haven't posted any videos since the main event. They haven't posted any videos since the main event. No post-fight press conferences, nothing. Same thing over at Bellator. Yeah, I'll be shocked too, man. I'll be shocked too. Look at this, right? Look at this. The prelims were free on YouTube. There were 6,000 people watching the prelims for free. That's how many streams the MMA Guru gets. Just for like when MMA Guru is just watching the UFC, not people watching the UFC, just people watching some fat guy in a fucking shed watch the UFC. We're getting 6,000 views. He can sometimes get up to 10,000 views. Right now on the PFL's page, their vlogs, their fight week vlogs, their version of Embedded. Go back, Doug. Go back. Learn how to use a fucking computer, Doug, you boomer. Vlog. 4K views. 4K views. 4K views. 4K views. Every single one. Episode 1, 2, 3, 4. All on the PFLs. $6,000 is embarrassing. However, not a lot of people watch the prelims, even in the UFC. No, I totally get that. Like the prelims are hard for people to stomach. I like watching the prelims, but they're hard for like the casual fan to stomach. But just to get people to pay for that PFL card, I don't know how much it costs, but it's a good indicator of like how many people are even aware and interested going into it. And when you're putting out like free content and people aren't even interested in watching that, you know, it ain't a good look. It ain't a good look. Read WMC Masterclass. Read Western Masterclass. Western Master. I have been reading you, man. Is that what you're saying? Read WMC. I've been reading you. Bit of more comes from. Yeah, I've been reading you, brother. Unless you mean something else by WMC, Western Mass Climber. But I've been paying attention to you, mate. Don't worry. In a weird way, showing it free makes them look small time. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like to just post the entire event for free makes it seem like it's not behind this paywall of exclusivity. I swear you skipped my last chat, mate. Man, I might not have seen it. But the last one that I see from you says Benoit comes from soy French lineage. Poirier comes from a based colonizer lineage. And I laughed at you. I laughed with you and said that the French were very good at colonizing as well. So sorry, dude. I wasn't trying to skip over you. You know how hard it is to keep up with 2 chat members, bro? You got no idea, mate. You think this is easy? It is. Either way. The PFL. The PFL can't market. Yeah, they can't. They can't story tell the way the UFC can story tell. And it also goes with it that they don't have many highlight moments to put out there. That fucking knockout of Beta in the main event, they needed that so bad. That is one of the best things that could have happened to the PFL. And also, are you somehow back on Top Chat? I am back on Top Chat. Fuck, I'm a fucking idiot. Anyway, we're in all chats now, okay? Sorry, man. We're in all chats now. There, done. I won't miss another one. Thanks, man. Thanks for reminding me. I'm going to get better at this the more I do it. Don't worry, man. The Bellator KO was needed, and how good that co-main event was. They need to get that edited into highlights, like a nice 90-second highlight edit of that co-main event of all the flying knees and the action in the center of the cage. They need to get that nicely edited and clipped up and get that onto social media immediately. They have to get that onto shorts and TikToks and Instagram reels, because that is the sort of thing that's going to make people go, oh, fuck, the fucking PFL main card actually had some action in it. I got to watch the next one. I'm thinking Eblin is not as good as I thought, though. Yeah, I don't think he won that fight. Hang on, let me make sure I'm remembering it properly, because my mind is starting to get confused between them all. But that was the co-main event, wasn't it? PFL Bellator, Johnny Eblin versus Impa. Yeah, co-main. I gave the first round to Impa because of the action that he did, because of the strikes that he landed, those 2 flying knees that he landed. Read my missed chat. All right, Western Masterclass. Chill, bro. All right. Poyer's family left France for North America like real Chads. Benoit's family stayed in France with their nuts tucked between their legs. That's all you had to get out. You needed that one out so bad. There you go, man. Dude. Yeah, Impa. That fucking threw me off, man. Yeah, to me, Impa won the first 2 rounds because Eblin was just wet blanketing at the start. Like, he did good grappling, but Impa threw the strikes down the center. He clearly won the second round based on the strikes. And then you're welcome, Western Masterclass. Now go and type in some more base shit into the chat. Have fun with it, mate. Go nuts. I'll read it out for you. Eblin won the last round, but it was more, he won the last round because he was landing good damage there, but he only won the second half of the second round because of the wet blanketing. Anyway, the point is, Eblin wasn't that impressive. He didn't land very good ground and pound. And yeah, it was a bit lackluster. I don't know if he's going to transition over into the PFL fully this year, into their regular season. You thought Eblin won barely, but it should have been more convincing. Fair enough. I mean, to me, it's damage. I'm in live chat. I'm in all messages now. We're in live chat. So everything should be getting said now. I clicked the other one. To me, with Eblin winning it, I believe it's still damage-based scoring, and Kingsway was doing... Do you remember that viral... This is what I'm saying. I don't watch enough Bellator and PFL, so no, I don't remember it. I don't remember it at all. But viral KOs, and I don't remember seeing it either. But those sort of moments are exactly what the PFL need this year. This should be the PFL's best year. They have everything working for them. Yeah, they have everything working for them, especially if Jake Paul comes over. Impa got viral KO'd in the UFC. When was this? Jacqueline Buckley. Did he? I am not one of those sports blokes that can just remember every single, those guys that you have a beer with and they can tell you the exact date of the playoff and the game and the goal that was kicked. You see, but back in 2020, spinning head kick. Did he really? Let me go on YouTube and see if I can find this highlight and see if it jogs my memory. Let me see if it jogs my memory. I'm like one of those see a face, remember it. 13 seconds. You definitely saw this. Okay. Let me see if it jogs my memory. My fucking girlfriend will run into the room and be like, I told you don't remember a thing. You don't remember anything. It's true. But, oh, yes. Jesus Christ. Yes. The spinning kick. Yeah. Now that is a viral KO. And it happened in the UFC, not in the PFL. Man, the PFL need a moment like that to just push them forward. I swear, man. Yeah, that was sick. Oh, brutal, mate. Brutal. How long till we got till the UFC starts? Also, the sun is starting to heat up and I'm in trackies because, like I said, I started watching. Oh, it says everyone's gone. Everyone's bailed on the stream. And I've been going for an hour now. So if you guys are gone, I'm going to bail. about 25 minutes. Oh, now 3 people are here. What the hell is going on? You're still here? All right, we'll hang out for a bit. I'll hang out until just before the UFC starts. About 25 minutes. All right, that'll do me. Then I'm going to grab a coffee, put on some shorts. Could slip my pants off now, but I won't do that. Thanks, Bad Math. Don't bail. You didn't bail? All right, man. Thanks, brother. Oh, Western Master Climber. You didn't bail. Good on you, man. I don't know what's going on there. The little view count at the top goes to 0 and then pops back up to 1. All good, man. All good. What other creators do you guys follow? We got part of the Guru Army in here. Do some of you guys watch MMA Joey, Sonnen? Give me some. Who are the people that you guys are watching on the MMA YouTube world? Yeah. Sometimes it falls out, but that's all good. I mean, we're still streaming ahead. To be honest, like, it's pretty amazing that it's kept up the entire time, especially with how trashed my state is at the moment. Like, we had bushfires this week that blew out some power lines. We had wind gusts through that blew down. Like, I've passed people's houses that have been destroyed by the trees falling on them. Western Master Climber, we need you over here fixing our trees. So yeah, and then we had huge rainstorms. Like, even my property, the roof came in, and my tenants were screaming at me to go over there and fix it. So it's been pretty bad. All right, I followed the MMA Guru back when he was at 500 subs. Fuck, Bad Math. Good on you, man. Well done. You wish you jumped on then? Yeah. Best time to plant a tree 20 years ago. But it's all good. The sport's only getting bigger and bigger. We're here now. Ronan, as you know, MMA, Kindell. I don't know who Kindell is. Too busy working 14 hours a day. Yeah, man. I hear that. I honestly, I don't watch MMA Musical. I know I see him in everybody's streams and I see him around, but I've just never clicked on his stuff. But I guess I should. He was chatting to me the other day in Ronan's stream. He was saying hi, said he'd give me a sub. So he's been very supportive. Like, I know he was well back in the day of the MMA Guru streams, back when it was, I just want to smoke weed and listen to the Guru, the MMA Guru. Like, that was Musical was back in the day then, wasn't he? It was Musical. Bad Math, you'll be able to know this since you are a MMA Guru purist. Musical MMA is an acquired taste. I think maybe it was Halloween this year. Guru was doing a stream and he sent us over. We did a raid on MMA Musical and he was in all of his like Halloween gear, like playing music to the audience, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? I was like, what the fuck is going on here? You never seen him pop up? Okay, he's been around. Oh yeah, it's so strange, these little characters that happen in the chat, these little characters that pop up, like all the shit that went on with Rigo and Toast, and he built this like little MMA YouTube multiverse. So strange. All right, let's skip ahead to the fight here. I'm like half watching Cage Warriors from last night. All right, we're off. Come on, Cage Warriors. It's a cult at this point. It is a bit culty. Thou shalt not speak against the Guru, otherwise he will send his army on you. But you gotta respect the kid's grind, man. Like, the dude worked, like, to the point of sleeping in the shed, back in the shed day, to sleep in the shed and build what he's built. And the fact that he sort of had like a bit of a slow start this year, and look at his numbers. Like, he's made 60K, 160K subs, and he started the year like just Yeah, man. They're like, you gotta uncancelable. I don't know about uncancelable. I think he is uncancelable. Yeah, I guess so. The shit that comes out of his mouth is insane. I mean, there must be something about not keeping the posts alive on YouTube, and also just like the not giving a fuck. You know, like when you work for yourself and you're your own person and you don't have sponsors and you've invested your money properly, there is a level of I don't give a fuck. You can't touch me, which is really nice. You know, like that's one of the best things about working for myself is there's no boss. There's no boss. But on the flip side of that coin, like if I cannot be lazy. Like if I don't go back to work on Monday, I'm not getting paid. So it's like a double-edged sword. Based views are coming back. Strickland's personality is testament to that. It's about not caring. Yeah, man. I mean, I think that audience has always been there. You know what I mean? That based audience has always been there. There was just something that happened in 2020 where they really tried to keep certain voices down. And they can pretend that they didn't, but the fact that Elon Musk had to go ahead and buy Twitter, all the censorship that happened over at Facebook, there was clearly a lot of censorship that was going on back then. And all those voices that were there in 2016, they didn't just fall off the face of the planet. They were still there. They just were getting suppressed throughout 2020. And then as Rumble started to get more popular and as the UFC stayed open and pushed through, and as Elon starts to give people a platform, yeah, they made that whole voice and that whole movement that was there pissed off. Like they made that whole movement feel like it was locked in a cage and couldn't do anything. And now that has just been given just a little bit of light, just Elon and Rumble and Dana are just giving it a little bit of light. You know, I'd like to think they are, man. I'd like to think based views are the prominent views. I don't know, man. I don't know. And this could be because I live in Australia, and Australia is. But I don't know if they are, because it takes a lot of balls to stand up to the system, and not a lot of people will have a good set of nuts between their legs. You know, I mean, I hope they are, and I pray that they are, but you never know. Gives us something to talk about when other fucked up shit is going on. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And I think as long as they keep the voices, I think as long as they keep giving, oh, nice up kick. Nice up kick there. I think as long as there is still space to talk, then people will stay alive and the based views will go on, because they'll never go away. Like you'll never get rid of that percentage of humanity who they just don't want to be fucked with and controlled. They want to do what they want to do when they want to do it, and they want to say what they want to say. Delicious uppercuts from Pimbert. This is a sick little fight going on here at Cage Warriors. I think this might be the second or third fight of the night. Second fight of the night at Cage Warriors. It's a fun little fight. I'd love to bring up the Tapology, but it will ruin the fight. Freedom of speech should be allowed no matter how fucked up it is. Yeah, absolutely. And that's, you know, as a 90s baby, like that's what I thought it always was. I thought the whole point was I don't have to like what you say, but I respect the fact that you can say it. And I don't think that you can have like a working system unless you allow free speech to happen. Wait till the end. Oh, fuck yeah, man. Sick. I don't think you can have a working system unless you allow everyone to say their piece, and then to allow that grind to happen in the middle. Like that grinding out of ideas is super important. Otherwise, you just have like even, you know, based views, like purely conservative just views. There was a point in Japanese history where Japan was so conservative and so systematic that they closed themselves off from the rest of the world. And there was literally no progressiveness. And then one day, the Yanks just rolled up. Mate, how many subs you got? I got fuck all, son. I think I'm on like 590 subs. I'm going to check, but I think I'm around 590 subs. Anyway, my ramblings about politics. Yeah, Japan was so closed off with so much conservatism that another progressive empire could just, thanks, Bad Math, appreciate the check-in, man, could just roll up and tell them to fucking open up their borders and outwork them in all technology. So if you have just a locked off opinion on one side of the political aisle, whether it's super conservative or super liberal, I mean, we've all seen what happens with like super communistic societies. That's not hard to see. The whole point of like a democracy will get you to 1,000. Thanks, brother. We're chipping away at this. We'll be all right. It's not a race. It's a journey. Sorry, 594 now. They'll come, they'll go. It's all good. That's life, mate. You got to have the talk. Oh, you got 594. Hey, man, we're on the same track. Let's get there together. We'll get to 1,000 and beyond at whatever pace we get there. So yeah, free speech is the solution to having like either ultra conservative parties, ultra fascist parties, or communistic parties, and that free speech needs to happen. And when one side censors the other, it just makes the other side angrier and angrier and makes them more and more radicalized. It's no good. It's no good at all. But we have platform. We have Rumble. I've been thinking about just posting my videos to Rumble so I can grow an audience there. So if censorship ever does happen too hard on YouTube, not that it's not already pretty hard on YouTube, at least there's something there. And Rumble will never go away. Odyssey will never go away. All those other platforms. It's good. We'll be right. We'll be right. We keep pressing on. We'll be right. The world's gone on long before us. It'll go on long after us. I think the whole cancellations thing was just bullshit anyway. It is just bullshit. It's just, but all those voices that got cancelled, they're all back now. You know, even Alex Jones is back. They're all back. So you cannot keep people quiet if people want to share their opinion. And that sword cuts both ways. And you have to accept that it cuts both ways. Like everyone should be allowed to say their piece. Oh, my headphones for the computer. Sorry. Don't die. Don't die. Don't die. There we go. That's true. When you're being cancelled, it just means that you are relevant enough and keep growing. Yeah, that's very true. I mean, they don't censor nobodies. You know what I mean? They don't censor nobodies. They only censor you if you have a voice. That's a bit loud. Although having said that, you know, in Australia during 2020, there was a lot of censorship going just on everyday people. Everyday people. Tradies and police officers rolling up for just what would happen on Facebook between people's posts. But anyway, we're past all that now. But Guru has been able to get around all of that very well. Like Guru's been able to keep growing his brand and growing his brand. And what is really fun to see is that now the fighters are coming and opening their doors up to him. Like now he's being welcomed into the fighters world. He's not just like this fringe dude on the outskirts of MMA. He is being welcomed in. Like to have an interview with the current champion, DDP, and to have an interview with the fucking goat of the sport, Mighty Mouse. 5 viewers, we're getting there. Boys, I am not going all the way through to the UFC. I'm going to bounce once the UFC starts. So let's just call Dougie's Corner the MMA world's little intermission between the PFL and the UFC. For Guru to be welcomed in is so fucking big for him because like he got to 150 subs or whatever. He got to the level that he's at purely just off his sick overhand from El Raza, however you pronounce that. That was fucking nice, man. Yeah, he got there and he has the base. Love it. Thanks, Western Mass Climber. I appreciate it, man. He's bigger than almost any UFC fighter on YouTube. I think he yeah, for sure. He's fucking massive, man. He's massive. Like the way that his podcast numbers smashed O'Malley's podcast numbers on the Demetrius Johnson interview is so telling. And that's again the thing. Like the corporate media, the corporate MMA media. I did. I know. I'm so sorry, dude. I'm sorry for your eardrums. I talk with my hands, so I apologize. That was a good fight, man. That was a really good fight. I enjoyed that. The corporate MMA media like to really control like the narrative. Like when you see Chael Sonnen putting out the talking points, that's pretty much the talking points of the MMA world. And the MMA guru is very good at smashing those narratives and pointing out the hypocrisy of it all. And just, he's got a very good read on the fan base. So for him to start creeping in closer and closer to the MMA mainstream, I can guarantee the MMA execs hate that. They do not want them to say his name at all. I mean, look at the damage that, I don't know if damage is the right word. Look at what MMA Guru did. He's a smart guy. Yeah, he's very switched on to social media, like the movements and the feelings and the vibe of the crowd. He's very, very good at that. Look at the impact that the MMA Guru had on a world championship fight. I really believe that it was the MMA Guru's videos that rattled Israel Adesanya going into the fight with Sean Strickland. And Sean Strickland could have done what Sean Strickland did anyway. You know, Sean Strickland's really good at pressuring. And Israel Adesanya is that point strikey fighter that dances around the outside. So when Strickland rushes in, yeah, he has an effect. He has an effect on fights. And that's crazy. That's fucking crazy. Like some dude in a shed. Moicano called him out on a fucking live event. I know, man. That's what I'm saying. Like they cannot keep pretending. People like Bisping and Ariel and Chael cannot keep pretending that he's not out there and that he's not having an impact. Look at the fan base that he has given Drew Dober. Like now, Drew Dober would have had, I don't want to take away from Dober because Dober is a highlight fighter. He does fucking awesome knockouts. But oh shit. Third round, fourth minute, 30 seconds. So like I don't want to take away from Dober. Dober is a sick fighter, does sick knockouts, is one of those like TikTok reels, can create those moments. But all the memes and all the excitement that Guru brought to Dober just elevates that and brings it to another level, you know? And yeah, and then to go ahead and to be invited into the MMA world, to be on Demetrius Johnson's, like hardcore fans love Mighty Mouse. They're going to watch that and be introduced to him. But then there's also the like DJ has been over at 1FC for a couple of years now. He has built up a great international audience as well. It's not just the Western audience. So for Guru to be on that platform and to be spread out that much throughout the MMA world, massive, man, massive. This fight is sick. This fight between Pimbert and Ilaraz is really good. This is better than all of the fights the PFL just put on. Fucking poor PFL. Mighty Mouse is my goat. Mighty Mouse is my goat. It goes Mighty Mouse, then GSP, then Khabib, then Islam. Yeah, I don't put John Jones there. John Jones has, to me, yeah, we all have our own list. We all have like how we look at it. To me, Mighty Mouse's work that he did in the UFC and then to go over to one championship, fight the Muay Thai fight with Ron Tang, survive the Muay Thai fight with Ron Tang. Obviously, he was going to win the way that he won. To get finished by a new rule set, the knees to a grounded opponent, to then adjust and come back and win it again is fucking crazy. And I think Mighty Mouse could come back and win the belt. Mighty Mouse, Jones, and GSP for me. Yeah, fair enough. And Jones is really like that one on the list. Khabib ain't in that combo for me. Fair enough. I mean, Go on, like, share why. Maybe you've made a video on it. Direct me to a video if you've made a video on it. Cowboy Cerrone is the GOAT. Cowboy Cerrone is every old school MMA's fan favorite fighter. We went camping, too much can crushing, and retired too early. I get that. I 100% get that. But when Khabib was in there doing his thing, that run all the way up to the title, he was so dominant, so dominant. And now we've seen all these other Dagestanis, and they're not as dominant as Khabib was. He was so dominant. Like, he lost one round to McGregor because he chose to stand and fight with McGregor. Now, is that fucking oath, this is good. Fuck, this is good. That was a sick overhand. No, not very active. True. I mean, there's reasons to like not have Khabib in the GOAT list, and I totally get him. But just the level of dominance that he had while he was there is enough for me to go 29-0 in MMA. Even take out the first 14. This is sick. So even take out the first 14. All right, let's agree to disagree and call the first 14 cans. Okay, fine. The first 14 were cans. Then he still went 13 fights, maybe. He still went 13 fights where he won every single round of every single fight for 13 fights, except for the Conor McGregor round where he chose to stand with McGregor just to be a big dog. 4 or 5 legit. Come on, man. 10 legit good ones. He didn't just fucking, like, the first 14, fine. But fine, all right, fine. Even five fights where he won every single fucking round. And a lot of them, like 3 of them were championship level fights. It's pretty fucking sick. It's pretty good. You know, like, I mean, there's a lot to be said for how good Khabib was. A lot. If you can name the 10, then I'll give up. I won't name the 10. So, and it's my stream. So I'm going to say that I won that argument. And it's going to go down in history as a Dougie's Corner win. Dude, I just finished that second fight. Whatever. I don't really care that much about the Khabib thing. I think he was amazing for his time. And the run that he went on, phenomenal. But yes, those first 14 were dodgy as fuck. That second fight in Cage Warriors, man. Everyone, all 2 of us, go back and watch that second fight in Cage Warriors. That was good. That was damn good. With John Jones, right? John Jones versus Reyes. I'm pretty sure Reyes won that fight. I'm disappointed he didn't continue. Me too, man. I'm super disappointed he didn't continue. I think another 2 or 3 defenses at lightweight. I don't think does this chat have any other regulars at different times? Yeah, actually, there's some dudes from Texas that jump in and a bloke named Muhammad who jumps in. It's always 2 or 3 guys in different time zones. It's always 2 or 3 guys from different time zones, which is cool. That's a nice little start, you know, for a 600 sub channel that barely goes live. That's pretty good. I might have GSP above Jones. Okay, so Jones was a bit I'll be back more now. Thanks, Bad Math. Appreciate it, man. Jones, right, we got the cheating thing. Like, he definitely cheated with drugs. Or was he doing it in an era where everyone was cheating with drugs and he was just the unlucky enough one to get called out? Perhaps. The Reyes fight, was that a robbery? To me, it was. To me, Reyes should have won that fight. The Thiago Santos fight, I can't believe how well Santos did with a broken kneecap. You know, like, but then John Jones's resume is just so GOAT-esque that it's like, yeah, he is the fucking GOAT. But now, talking about how Khabib didn't hang around long enough, is John Jones hanging out too long? Like, to me, him ducking Aspinall is really tarnishing his legacy. Because when you look back at, like, John Jones's last couple of fights, you got the Reyes thing where it's iffy. You got the Thiago Santos thing where it's iffy. Cyril gone. smashes him, but Cyril Gane was never going to win the wrestling in that exchange. This has been like John Jones' truest test since, I mean, the Anthony Smith win has aged terribly. Anthony Smith is not a great fighter, so that has aged terribly. So you're looking at like John Jones's career and you're talking about the last 8 years off the top of my head. Of course he's ducking Aspinall. I would too. Yeah. But doesn't that tarnish his career? Because one day we're going to be having this conversation like we're having now. Badmouth MMA makes content. Check him out. I've saved him to my watch later list, and after this card's done tomorrow, I'm going to be watching him. Western Mass Climber. He will fight Miocic and throw his gloves down in the cage after. Yeah, he should. But then there's going to be fans like me who are going to say he went out on dodgy wins and ducked the true number one contender. Just how you're saying Khabib didn't hang around long enough for any true competition. Like, it would be better to see, the career will always be time. That's the thing. Like, when's the right time to get out, you know? When's the right time to get out? It's such a hard argument to make. Like, you get Khabib, he went out too early. He can't be the GOAT. He didn't hang around long enough. You get fucking John Jones. He stayed around too long and his last couple of wins were iffy. There's never a good way to go, is there? Unless you're GSP. Or Mighty Mouse, right? Like, Mighty Mouse got ushered out of the UFC and then went on to an organization. No one gets to do it, only a handful in history. Yeah. And GSP and Mighty Mouse might be the ones. Because there's something to be said for Mighty Mouse's exit where, like, he left the UFC and it's like, fuck, he still could have done really well in the UFC. And then he went to this whole other organization. And it's like, he got tested there, but not at the level of UFC level. So he still gets to keep some of that reputation and some of that mystique around his career. Yeah, and that's why Mighty Mouse is my GOAT. And you get to know like a real MMA fan if they even talk. Fuck, I just did it again. I'm sorry. Yeah, one's competition is sick. That's why I just made that video about Khamzat Chimaev, right? I don't know. I won't elaborate. Did you watch the video on Khamzat Chimaev? Because if you did, I'll elaborate. And if you didn't, the other way around. If you didn't watch it, I'll elaborate. Not just winning, but the way he did it. Yeah, he was so creative and fluid in there. And he's constantly learning, which is like what I learned from that. You haven't yet? Okay. That knockout that he got, like from a knee to a grounded opponent, that wasn't part of his game fully because he didn't need to always be aware of it over at the UFC. But then he comes back and adjusts. So Khamzat Chimaev, it's pretty much set in stone that he can't fight in the US. He can't fight in Western countries, apparently, because of his ties with the mic abuse is based, Ronan. It's just the sign of an unskilled streamer when they're fucking smacking their mic around. Khamzat Chimaev probably can't fight in any of the Western countries because of his ties to Ramazan Kadyrov. And we don't really have a weight class for him in the UFC. He won't really fucking pick one. I've made a video about this. It's the video called How to Fix the UFC's Biggest Problem. I think it's the latest video on my channel. So what do we do with Khamzat Chimaev? Oh, you made a video about that too. Okay, fair enough. I think we should transfer Khamzat Chimaev for Johnny Eblin in, not Johnny Eblin. Fuck, let me go to my thing. I'm getting all mixed up. We should trade him for that Muay Thai kickboxer in one championship. The English guy. John Haggerty. He does. He needs a 5-rounder with an actual ranked middleweight. Fucking absolutely he does. That's what I mean. We need to get him properly competing in the UFC 2 or 3 times a year. And he can't do that. He can't make weight. So let's just fucking get rid of him. And let's take John Haggerty from one championship. We've already done a trade with one championship in the past. Put John Haggerty at 145. We've just lost Volk. Volk is aging out. if Max Holloway beats Gaethje, you don't need to watch the video now because I'm pretty much summarizing the whole thing. If if Holloway beats Gaethje, Holloway's going to stay at lightweight, and Brian Ortega is going to get thrown out of the rankings today anyway. Brian Ortega is going to get his fucking head kicked in today. So 145 is going to have some room for some new blood. Let's do a clean transfer between UFC and ONE. We've done it before, and like Ben Askren turned Masvidal into a superstar. It was a bit of a win-win. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. He should fight Whitaker. Yeah, he should. He should fight Whitaker or Cannonier, right? If Ortega wins, I might cry. Yeah, fuck Ortega, man. Can we get him out of the rankings, please? We're done with Ortega, man. Haggerty versus Ilya. Sick fight. I'm telling you. Prelims. 11. The prelims are starting. All right, guys. I'm going to wrap up, hang out, watch the UFC prelims. Should I hang out or should I stay? I don't know. I'm very torn, mate. Cannonier will beat... Well, okay, so have they started yet? They have started. Prelims are on. Let's go. I know. I'm so up in the air. UFC is on. I'm going to fuck off. Yeah. All right. That's it. UFC is on. Let's get the fuck out of here. Let's kick back and watch the fights. Hey, mate, thanks, guys, both of you. Thanks for hanging out. It was super fun. Enjoy the fights. I'll see you guys all in someone else's chat room. We'll chat during the week. Bad Math, I'm going to watch your streams this week, your videos tomorrow. Let's have a good time, boys. Enjoy the fights. Thanks for hanging out.